Hey folks, so I know that we really just started looking at the unit circle and we haven't even really begun to use it, and that's okay. But I wanted to offer a couple of pieces of advice about some ways to make the unit circle kind of work for you. Because at first glance, it's pretty overwhelming. There's a lot of coordinate points to look at and to think about and to, at some point maybe even start to memorize. But I just want to point out a couple things to help you uh, use this more efficiently. So the first thing is if I focus in on quadrant one and remember that the unit circle, we can read it in a counterclockwise manner, starting from the point 1, 0. And if you'll notice the values that are involved here, so on the axes, right, we've got the point 1, 0 and the point 0, 1. And then in between, we actually only have three different values that appear. We have square root 3 over 2, 1/2, and square root 2 over 2. And if you look closely, uh, at the 30-degree and at the 60-degree angle, the x and the y coordinates switch places, right? We've got 1/2 and square root 3 over 2 in reverse order as we did at the 30-degree angle. That's awesome, right? They're both 30, 60, 90 triangles, so it makes sense that they involve the same values. I apologize for that background noise. My puppy Louie is here and I took away his toy because he was not being very good. So he's a little bit sad about that. Um, so just something to keep in mind is that there are absolutely some relationships here to start to pay attention to, and a big one is are those values. If we zoom out and take a look at the rest of the unit circle, it's actually the same repeating values, right? We see 1/2 and we see square root 3 over 2 over and over again, in really the same order. Right? And the only changes are positive versus negative. So in quadrant one, both values are positive. We've got the x and the y coordinates are positive values. In quadrant two, our x coordinates are negative and our y coordinates are positive. In quadrant three, we've got both are negative, right? Because they're both in negative x and negative y. And in quadrant four, we have positive x values and negative y values. So that's even one less thing to really think about. If we can just focus on where in the coordinate plane our points are, what quadrant they're in, we can just really focus on the values and just add the positives and the negatives later. So as you start to practice using the unit circle, I would really pay close attention to that first quadrant, quadrant one, and see if you can start to memorize those values. Memorize those positions, the 30-degree, the 45-degree, the 60-degree, and see if you can start to apply that to the other angles around the circle, and thinking about positive and negative and the relative location. Now, again, this is really only the second time that we've even talked about the unit circle. You are not going to be an expert. It is not going to go perfectly. But I want to start to introduce these ideas, and plant those seeds to help you out in the future. Awesome. Take care.